Today we're talking about a 12-bar blues in B flat. Only uses three different chords: B flat, E flat, and F7. Namely, the 1 chord, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord in a blues, right? So each of them is a dominant 7-type chord, a 4-note chord. And specifically today, we're going to talk about how to use chord tones, how to define the chords more clearly, and thereby give you more melodic material to use. And this creates, considerably more interest. There are guys that just, that can just, play a pentatonic scale. Right, that has some pretty severe limitations. So what we're trying to do is define the chords and how to, let's begin by how to spell these chords. So in the case of a B flat 7, here we are. You can see that we have a D here. And if I want to define the chord, I want to put that D in there. And so I've got the D, and I've got the flat 7. Those are both really important notes. That gives us a tritone. I'm just going to kick into it here, and I'm going to define that 3, and you'll just listen for that. So there we go. There's the flat. I used that 3 right at the top. And it's more interesting to me than just using a straight pentatonic. Right. And you can use that flat 3 as well, and it'll work, and that's great. And I went on to the E flat, and I jumped into defining that chord with the root, the flat 7, and the 3 there, right? All those notes are in the chord. So when I make a change, what I want to do is make sure that I'm hearing the chord change, right, in my lines. So this is a bit more of an arpeggio approach, if you will. But I don't want to get so dry as to just play arpeggios, because just playing arpeggios it just sort of sounds boring. It's a good exercise when you're practicing, but we want to take it a little further than that. Okay, so here we go. B flat 7 from the top. Okay, so you can hear the style, right? I think you can probably hear the style. It makes me think of a little bit more of a Chicago blues style, or even jump, right? Let's take a look at what I did, and here we are with the B flat 7, and here is that 3. If I want, I can also define another note in the chord. In this case, in the B flat 7, I can put a 13 in. Right, that would be the 13 on the B flat chord. That's a lovely note, right? And the 7th is just a semitone above it, right? So the 13 is very colorful. And the 7 again defines the chord. When I move to the E flat, here's my root, here's my flat 7, and here's my 3. Another nice note is the flat 3 moving to the major 3 of the chord, flat 3. moving to the major 3 of the chord. And then when we go to the F7, I've got, there's my 3, moving down to the E flat. Right. Okay, I can move that up here, F7. And you can hear these chords and these notes. So the most the defining notes will be the 3 and the 7. If we take only the 3 and the 7, we end up with what we call the tritone, and that tritone, in those 2 notes indicate the chord more than any other 2 notes. Let's put it that way. So here's a tritone that I would find in the B flat. Here's a tritone inverted that I would find in the E flat. And then the F, E flat, and B flat. Okay, I'm going to do another video on short chords later. Let's listen to that 13, all right? We're going to listen to the 13, and the 13 we would call a color tone, because it's not necessary in terms of the function of the chord. Check it out. All right, so there's the 13. Players like any blues players, but B.B. King used to play that 13 a lot, and it because it's a lovely color against the chord of the moment. But if you're going to play that 13 when you get to the E flat, you're not playing a 13 anymore. You're playing the third of the chord of E flat, right? That note would be a third of this chord, 13th in this chord, and the 9, I think, and the 9. So it has a different quality with each of these chords. Okay. Let's talk about let's talk about the flat 5 a little bit. If we're playing a blues scale, a minor blues scale, we have this note here. I'll play it up an octave. Right? There it is. It's pretty pungent. And it can be played against the B flat. Let's hear that flat 5. Okay, it's fun just jumping in like that. You heard it. It's tense. There's a lot of blueness there with that flat 5. So and now I'd just like to emphasize the flat 3 going to the 3. Okay, all of these are notes that you can use in your own lines. Listen to the flat 3. There's my flat 3, moving to the major 3. Right? And we can do the same thing here. And let's hear that against the track. Flat 3. I'm always thinking of the chords, defining the chords, and obviously I always have to know where I am in the progression. Playing and thinking in chord tones like this will really open up a new world for you, and so you have to be able to identify where the third is in the chord, where that flat 7 is in the chord, right, and maybe the flat 5, right. And do that with each chord, and be able to identify those sounds within the chord, because what you're doing, the blues is really like each of these chords is like a harmonic platform, and you get to play on that, against that harmonic platform, and you get to imply chord sounds against the chord. If this says B flat 7, you could use a 9, you can use a 13, you can use that flat 3. I would suggest using the flat 3, moving to the major third that belongs in the chord. There's lots of different things that you can do, but today I'm just trying to emphasize this idea of chord tones. If you want to do an exercise like this on your own, I would suggest using this play-along track. It's pretty good. B flat is not necessarily specifically a guitar key, like a lot of people like to play an A, but B flat is a cool key for horn players, and so it's a key that you should be conversant in. If this video was helpful to you, like, subscribe. It helps the algorithm immensely. Buy me a coffee. Buy one of my books, which you can get on Amazon. And please leave a question. I get back to all the questions with fairly lengthy answers. So thanks for stopping by. Thanks for your support, and we'll see you real soon.